Italy, it's more than just pizza, pasta, and the Colosseum. It's a land where every city hides a secret, from floating places built on water to colorful islands painted like rainbows, to quiet villages where time seems to have stopped. Today, we are leaving the crowded postcards behind to discover stories most visitors never hear. Welcome to the hidden soul of Italy. Welcome to Venice, the city that seems to float on water. Why is Venice the most visited city in Italy? Beyond romance, it was once one of the richest and most powerful trading hubs in Europe. But here's something many don't know. Venice wasn't built directly on the lagoon's moat. Instead, the Venetians drove millions of wooden piles deep into the ground. Amazingly, the wood didn't rot because underwater, without oxygen, it mineralized and became as hard as stone. That's why this 1,000-year-old city is still standing. Venice may seem eternal, but the city has faced disasters time and again. Few know that Venice has burned several times. The most devastating fire happened in 1577 when the Dutch palace, the heart of Venetian power, went up in flames. Priceless work by great masters like Titian and Bellini were destroyed. Venice has no cars at all, only boats and feet. Even ambulances are boats. Venice's beauty has always lived in a delicate balance with the sea, but the same water that made it powerful also threatens its survival. Locals call the seasonal flooding acqua alta or high water. It happens when strong winds push the Adriatic Sea into the lagoon, raising the water level so much that St. Mark's Square can turn into a shallow lake in just minutes. In the past, aqua alta was rare. Today, because of global warming and the rising sea levels, floods are more frequent and more severe. Scientists warn that if climate change continues unchecked, parts of Venice could disappear underwater within a century. To protect the city, Italy has built a MOSE project, giant floodgates that can temporarily close off the lagoon during extreme tides. It's one of the most ambitious engineering projects in Europe. Venetian architecture is a mix of East and West, Byzantine domes, Gothic arches, Renaissance palaces. You will notice how facades are designed to admire from the water, not the land, because canals were once the city's main streets. Its beauty was deliberately built to impress merchants, nobles, and ambassadors. This legacy of awe is what still attracts over 20 million visitors each year. Of course, nothing symbolizes Venice more than the gondola. What's less known is that each gondola is perfectly asymmetrical, one side longer than the other, so it glides straight despite being rowed with a single oar. Gondoliers are not just boatmen, they're storytellers, singers, and keepers of a centuries old tradition. Becoming a gondolier requires years of apprenticeship and even passing an exam. Here, you will notice something curious. Most ground floors of the old palaces and houses are empty, abandoned, or used only for storage. That's because, with centuries of flooding, rising sea levels, and the salty lagoon water, living at ground level become impossible. Walking through Venice, when you see a door opening directly into a canal or windows half submerged, you are really looking at the hidden cost of living in a floating city, generations adapting to water inch by inch. Today, Venetians live only on the upper levels. The ground floor is sacrificed to the water, a buffer zone between daily life and the unpredictable tides. So, when you walk through Venice, remember, you are seeing a city that may not look the same for future generations. It's not just a tourist destination, but a living treasure we are racing against time to preserve. Just short ride away lies Burano, famous from its rainbow houses. Legend says fishermen painted them bright so they could recognize their homes from far out at sea. Even today, if you live on Burano and want to repaint your house, you can't just pick any color. You have to send a request to the local government and they'll tell you which colors are allowed for your property based on the historic system. This is why Burano looks so harmonious. Every shade has its place in a carefully preserved palette. And Venice by night? It's a completely different city. When the cruises crowds leave, the streets empty, and the sound of footsteps echoes on the stone. Gondolas rock gently in the moonlight, and the golden reflections of lanterns on the canals turn the city into a living painting. It's quiet, almost secret, the Venice only locals truly know. Just 30 kilometers north, away from the tourist chaos, lies Treviso, a hidden gem often called Little Venice. Its charm comes from canals waving through medieval streets, but unlike Venice, Treviso feels lived in and authentic. Treviso has a fascinating history. It was a Roman town, then a walled medieval city, and later part of the Venetian Republic. You can still walk through the 16th century city walls and gates that once protected it. Architecturally, Treviso is a blend of Gothic churches, Renaissance frescoes, and elegant piazza. The Palazzo di Trecento, built in the 13th century, still dominates the main square. But the little arcaded streets and flower lined canals give it a cozy, almost village like atmosphere. The Sile River flows through Treviso, creating peaceful walks and cycling paths along its banks. This is also the region where Prosecco is born, surrounded by vineyards and rolling hills. Treviso invites you to slow down, sip a glass of wine, and enjoy a dolce vita without the crowds. Next, we travel to Comacchio, often called the Little Venice of Emilia-Romagna. Built on 30 small islands connected by canals and bridges, Comacchio has the same lagoon soul as Venice, but with a more rustic, authentic spirit. The symbol of the town is Treponti Bridge, built in the 1600s, five staircases meeting in the center, offering one of the most picturesque views of the canals. Comacchio, it's like stepping into a forgotten Venice, quieter, simpler, but equally magical. In Italy, it's a journey into history, architecture, and nature. Each city tells a different story, but together they weave the soul of this land.